All right, guys, Tye and Kade here again. I'm going to be showing you guys one of my favorite submissions. This one is kind of like a front rear naked choke. Kind of interesting. I'm going to be setting this up off of the north-south choke. I used this a few years ago in the Europeans. I was a kid, maybe 16 years old, and I put my opponent to sleep in about like 3 or 4 seconds. Right? This is one of the tightest chokes I think you can possibly put somebody in, and it's so effective. So I'm going to give it a go right now. Go ahead and get down. Yep. Just a quick little thing to add on. The reason why we're starting from the north-south choke is because this position, we can use it in a lot of different situations. However, like Tye said, this specific one from the north-south choke, it's almost like a corkscrew motion where it just, for whatever reason, just seems to cinch tighter than a lot of the others. So I genuinely think it's the tightest choke you can do. Right. At least that maybe I've experienced. So we're here in side control. I'm gonna bring your head this way. So yeah, perfect. Cool. So we're here in the north-south choke, right, guys? For those of you guys who don't even know how to do the north-south choke, we're here in side control. I'm gonna bring my hand around my opponent's head, right, and then start to come around towards the north-south, locking my hands together. Okay. Now what I'm gonna do is get my opponent's arm out of the choke, right? Boom. Start to wiggle down. So from here, I have his head, I have his arm on the other side of my body. Just a classic north-south choke, right? From here, I'm going to start to try to finish the choke and deliver some pressure. For those of you guys that have great north-south chokes, once you get here, great, try to finish. Boom. For me personally, I have very long arms, and the north-south choke is very difficult for me, right? So every time I get here, I lock it up, I try to come, I drop my shoulder, I drop my elbow, and there's times I can get the finish, and other times my arms just feel a little long, and it's just not the submission for me, right? So in that situation, what I'm going to do is pull my opponent. I almost want to bait him, and I'm going to loosen the choke a little bit so he feels like he can turn either direction. Usually they're going to want to turn into you, right? So boom, he's turning in, he's away from the north-south choke. What I'm going to do is keep my hands high, the lock high, and get the rear naked choke grip, right? I want to make it so that the rear naked choke is completely like the opposite of the regular rear naked choke, right? So I want to be on top of him. So you see how he's almost turned completely? If I can loosen the choke, boom, and get it to where the lock is on the complete outside and my hand is behind his neck. You all right?
Yeah.
There we go.
I almost put him to sleep.
Yeah. All right, boom, right here. Blade of my arm is going into the front of his neck. The lock is coming off the side, and the back of my blade of my free arm is coming behind the neck, just like a rear naked choke. And what I'm doing, this pressure is so gnarly. The second I start to squeeze, he's tapping. There's really not much I need to go over once I get there. It's all about the setup. And think of like those hot dogs you see at Target on the hot dog roller. His head's doing the same thing, right? It's inside. I want his head to spin without my body spinning with it, right? So I'm gonna loosen, let his head spin, and then re-tighten. That's the plan here. So put your head to the other side. I'm gonna do it with my other arm. Here, boom, we got the north-south choke, right? Do you guys need more setups from here? Check it out. We're gonna be in side control. Boom, we can pin this bottom arm, right? And now just reach around. All right, cool. Boom. We start to hit this angle. We're trying to north-south choke, and it's just not working. It's just not working. Now our opponent's gonna turn, right? Whichever side he turns to. If he turns to this side, then I'm gonna take my hands, the lock, and bring it as high as I can, right? Once I've brought the lock pretty much to the other side of his neck, I'm going to swim my hand deeper, right? Elbow's pretty much on his shoulder right here, and I'm taking the blade of my arm and following his neck down right here, all right? Grinding along. Then you guys should get the top. If your opponent turns the other direction, even better. We're here in the north-south choke, right? Look, see, if I'm squeezing from here too tight, he's just gonna stay, right? Squeezing. So maybe squeeze, try to finish, and then make it looser. So he thinks he's finishing, or he's escaping. Now I tighten it back up, right? Now we have the rear naked choke from the front, right? He's starting to turtle. The second I start to squeeze, it's over, right? There's not much you need to do from here. You don't need to pull guard. You don't need to put him on his back. Just make sure that your arm and blade of your arm is right here in the neck, right there in the front of the neck. You don't want it off to the side, right? Do your best to keep it in the front. So now we lock it up. It's such a tight choke. Kind of like an instant tap, really. Do you have anything you want to add? Just one more time, we'll go back down north south. Boom. So like Tye said, I'll go ahead and do it in my right arm. Or it's probably better for the camera to do it in the left. But yeah, like Tye said, off the north-south choke, right? We drop our hips. We're squeezing. For guys with shorter arms, north-south choke is great, or stronger arm, but for whatever reason, like Tye said, and it's not just him, it's me too, it's not my favorite. I get them here and there, but guys tend to do this exact thing and start turning and making the north-south choke ineffective, which makes this choke more effective, right? And like Tye said, it's just about loosening up a little bit, giving them false hope that they're escaped, but they're right back into a tighter submission, right? Like Tye said, you don't need to do much from here. You guys can just squeeze and finish. If you guys really want to 100%, if you feel like he's driving, maybe a wrestler trying to get the shot, let him take you down. Sorry. And then just finish it from on your back or from on bottom. But this position, it gets so tight so quick. Yeah. As Tye was doing that first one, I was like tapping. He didn't even have it fully set up yet. He didn't want to let go. I was like going to sleep. I was like, let me out. But yeah, it's a really good one. It's a really good one.